Now, this is the reality. Nobody has bewitched you. No, you're just financially irresponsible. I received a call some like 3 or 4 days ago, and the guy was calling me and telling me, hey, you know what, Joseph, I've tried the best I can. I've been working here and there. I try as much as I can. And guess what, Joseph? I'm not developing. I've been even thinking about some people have actually bewitched me. I'm barely even progressing as far as the finances are concerned. And I was asking, who do you think has bewitched you? I think my aunt, we have an aunt who is actually operating on jealousy, on all those kind of things. So I think actually I'm not able to progress because, hey, you know what? I was like, okay, fine, okay, fine, okay, fine. I listened to the guy until the end of conversation. And I then asked the person, okay, fine, let's focus on how you actually manage your money. Okay, fine, how much do you want? Hey, Joseph, I make 75,000 at the end of the month. Okay, how much do you pay for your house rent? Well, I think I pay around 30,000, close to 30,000. So how much do you use in terms of the food? Well, it's around 25,000. So how much do you save? Well, I'm even unable to save because when kids in school, then listen, when you listen to somebody, and by the way, if you're watching this video from the Western countries, you may like, okay, what are you talking about? See, in Africa, welcome to Africa. Most of the African believe in things called voodoo or even bewitches or something kind of thing. And you may have some people who operate, maybe say in towns, and they have this mentality like, hey, guess what? I've been bewitched. I have actually been in a position where I cannot be able to save. That's why I do not have money. That's why I cannot even progress because of my parents, because of my, grandmothers, because of my neighbors. They are jealous of me. You get the thing. It's quite a popular thing. And I do receive this kind of news. And people tell me, hey, guess what? I'm seeking about finding the spiritual things, intervention, and what have you. And then where they're going to seek the spiritual intervention, then they get manipulated along the way. They tell you, hey, you know what? For you to receive the blessings, you have to buy these prayers. And the moment you realize you're actually being called in, from, left and right and what have you. You see, when you lack wisdom, you see, let me tell you one secret. Even the Bible says that my people perish due to lack of what? Wisdom. And some of you guys have the wisdom, but it's inadequate to face the current and the real situation of this world. You know what? Let me tell you one secret. And I'm not trying to scrap off the spiritual thing. It's a great thing. It's okay to look for the spiritual guidance and what have you. But the point is this. You need to approach it with the wisdom. You need to approach it with understanding. So let me just share this one, okay? You have not been bewitched. Nobody has bewitched you. The problem you have is that you're financially irresponsible. And never forget this, even God himself stops growth where there is no management. Period. That's it. You see, you have to show the character of management. Say maybe you don't believe in God. See, even nature itself can actually reject what you're doing if you do not have the management. See, if I gave you 10,000, 20,000, 40, 60, 100. Let's take an example of that client who called me earning 70,000 at the end of the month. The guy is incapable of managing that amount of money. I said, sir, you've already violated one principle of finances. And the guy was like, which one? You're not supposed to pay over 30% of your total income towards your rent. Simple. The guy was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. Exactly. You're not supposed to pay that amount of money towards a house rent. The point is this, how much do you save? How much do you salvage at the end of the month in terms of your savings for the purposes of investment? I cannot be able to do so. Perhaps sometimes I can save 4 or 5K out of 70,000. Come on, what kind of a lifestyle do you live? You see, you may find some people who actually live in a lifestyle that they can barely survive it. Okay, fine, they are surviving, they are eating, they are drinking, and never forget this, you see. Perhaps I've ever talked about this and I have to repeat about it. You see, do not feel that you are progressing in life if you can just fund what we call the sustainables. If you can just fund the sustainables, this will never help you develop in any way. Cannot help you. Just because you're living in a posh area, that's because you're driving a good car, just because maybe you say you're educating your kids in a certain good and beautiful school that you're barely surviving, you're only 2 months before you become broke, and maybe say you're living somewhere or maybe where you take, those are not development. You see, in Africa, we have this character when you see someone who is fat and has a belly, pot belly, you tend to think that they are rich and they are doing okay health-wise. No, you're not doing okay. That's a sign of insulin resistance. You're not supposed to do that. But when you see him with a flat tummy, especially if you're married and say you are married to a certain guy and the guy goes back to his home and the guy does not have a tummy, the parent says like you are, the guy is on hunger, the guy is not eating as the way supposed to be. So there is that mentality that most of the Africans usually have, and is actually a drawback from them achieving the ultimate goal. So let's listen. This is what I'm going to agree on this video. Nobody has bewitched you. Go back to the class of what we call the financial literacy. Allow yourself to know and learn what you know. See, when you unlearn for you to relearn, that is the best thing that you can ever do. But the problem is this: perhaps you're watching this video, you are 25 years, you are 30, you are 45 years, you are 60 years. You have that software that you've been having with you like for the last, I don't know, couple of decades. And now here I am, good Joseph, I'm expecting a miracle to happen for the 15 minutes. And I'm going to record this video. And then I'm expecting you to overly change your character. Obviously, that may not happen. But the reality is, if you can be able to change your perception, the reality towards, or for your reality or your truth from your end, the fact remains that you can be able to transform and change your life. If you subscribe to this understanding that the reason why you're not progressing is because you're bewitched. And listen, I am not saying that there are not those kind of things. They exist, but largely people who claim that they have been bewitched, it is not the reality. All right? See, listen, let me tell you one secret. If you do nothing about money today, rest assured that tomorrow you're going to have some money problem. There's a reality. So if you do not have, let's say you drive carelessly. So if you drive carelessly and then maybe you get something bad out there, you say, hey, guess what? There is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, you're not supposed to be, you're supposed to be responsible on what exactly you do. And sometimes, listen, let me not go to the accidents part of you and all those kind of things. But the point is this: how exactly responsible are you with your life? Do you understand your finances? What are your goals? Some of you guys are operating without goals. The only thing that you have, yeah, sure, you do have the vision, you do have the goal. But they see the difference between a vision and a goal is that you out there, you're just approaching your vision or a goal aimlessly. You do not have an outlined steps and strategies to achieve that specific goal that you're aiming to get. Listen, I always love to give these examples, like you saying you're gonna go to just a place, and you do not even know the route to go to that particular place. At the back of your head, you know you're supposed to be at that particular place, but you're not doing anything between where you are right now and you being where you would like to be. There is no plan in between. All right, stop, sort of hooking all those. What we call just justifying yourself why you're failing, justifying yourself why you're not making it. Listen, one thing, you see, what happens, we have two factors that actually defines whether we become or not become successful. You see, we have the internal factors, we have the external factors, and poverty always starts in our mindset before it goes into our pockets. You see, the moment you try to, what do we call, sort of manifest you being bewitched. Obviously, you can even get yourself being bewitched because, after all, witches exist or do exist. So the point is this: first of all, be financially responsible. You tell me I earn this amount of money, this is what I channel towards investment, this is what I actually survive on as far as the, the recurrent expenditure are concerned, and you go about again and do what you call the financial reviews. At what frequency do you do the financial reviews with you yourself, with the family members? When was the last time you paid somebody who is a financial advisor to show you 1, 2, 3? Okay, fine, you never paid somebody. When was the last time you went ahead and maybe checked some videos like this one? You sat down and you listened on how you're supposed to manage the finances. When was the last time you actually took a pen and paper and outline all your goals and you say, hey, guess what? For the next 30 days, I'm going to outline, I'm going to check out where my money goes and what exactly did you find? And after finding it out, what action did you take? And exactly after taking that action, what difference did it bring? See, most of the people, they just walk their dreams and whatever. Most of them, they just have this utopian place where they want to be. And they just feel that the government will fix their problem. They feel like their parents should have fixed their problem. They think that the problem is their couples or all those kind of things. That is not the reality. See, when you have some people where you are blaming everybody and all that kind of thing, you are not even accountable of yourself. You ain't gonna make it. That's a reality. You're not gonna make it. So you have to be an individual who is accountable to their lifestyle. I'll be like, okay, fine. I've been squandering my money for like longest time ever. Now, what exactly can I be able to do so that I may be able to salvage myself out of the stress and the problem that I am in? So that way you can be able to go ahead and say, hey, guess what? I've been getting this wrong, but right now and starting from today, you can be able to do something. That's why I always tell people, guess what? Go ahead and outline these strategies. First of all, focus on doing something continuously for the 21 days. Substitute that and go for 61 days, and then the last one is 91 days. See, by the time you're clocking the 91 days, you already have a character. See, by the time you're clocking this one, you already have a habit. Okay, Are we together? Now, by the time you're clocking the 21 days, you are reprogramming yourself. You're programming yourself. You reprogram, you get the habit, you get the character. You're going to incorporate that in part of your life, and that's how you progress in your life. And again, it's always good to approach money as a spiritual thing. I always tell people money is very spiritual, should be approached as a spiritual thing because it is indeed spiritual. And the only sacred language that money understands is budgeting. Budgeting simply means putting your house in order. Budgeting simply means telling your money where to go rather than wondering where exactly that money went. So that way, you're going to operate and you're going to achieve or approach your money with a strategy that works at all the time. So the question to this guy, so what exactly do you choose to do? If you choose to go ahead and do something as far as your life is concerned, go ahead and hit that like button. Always be here, watch my videos so that at least we can pick something and we can be able to grow each other. Never forget this, just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we here, or so do we sort of learn from each other. I believe I have something that I can learn from you, and I believe you can as well learn something from me. All right, so go ahead and pick that number of mine from the description of this specific video. You can give me a call, you can shoot me an email, and comment down below. Tell me what you think, what exactly or how exactly do you usually do for that, so that at least you do not incorporate that kind of a mentality in your life and can help you to grow. For now, it's a goodbye. But never forget, if you're watching me for the first time, my name is Joseph. Talk about anything and everything related to finances and investment. See you in the next one.